This is one of my favorite channels to watch right here. We need to talk because the perspective and the conversations that homie be having with these ladies is very, very dope. This video is called Black Masculinity in White Society. Hashtag Pink Pill. This is a series called Kevin Samuels started this conversation. I ain't gonna hold y'all much longer. This will be in the description. The link to this video and the link to the channel will be in the description below. I appreciate y'all rocking for me now, clicking on this one. But feel free to go and search over there once you're done with this right here. Let's go ahead and press play.
I'll explain where we're going with this, and then I'll ask the question. So, for instance, Serena Williams, she ended up marrying a white dude and having a kid. You have like the rapper Eve, she ended up with a white man, or, a myriad of other celebrities. And the popular thing now is, girl, get you a white boy, they treat you better, this, and that. So the question is, why are Black women always softer when they get a white man? And it's popular on TikTok too.
I don't think it's that. I will say you have your challenges with white men too. And it's mostly surrounding like cultural differences surrounding their families and a lot of subdue racism. But I think with that is because white men don't have, or a lot of white men, they don't really try to prove their alphaness. Like they just kind of assimilate to whatever dynamic you present. So like with a Black dude or some Black dude, you hear them saying like, my woman has to cook. I'm not gonna do this. She gotta be the cook in the house. If she cook, I ain't gonna be with her. But then you talk to white men, it's like, oh, I wanna make you a food. So it's like, they're not coming as abrasively. So it lets you break down your walls almost. Like you don't have to, I see that face. It's like, they're not having all these expectations because they don't necessarily have to.
I get her explanation as far as where she's going, but I don't think that was as good of an example to use, because I know a lot of dudes that lean on their cooking skills to get women. You feel me? I know back when I was in college, dude, I invited a chick over for some surf and turf. I was in them cheeks easy. You feel me? But I had a conversation the other day in my comment section, and a girl was asking like, why are so many men fixated with wanting their woman to cook and clean and stuff like that? And in my opinion, I think that that's just a talking point to represent a woman being a homemaker. I don't think it's that literal. Just being a homemaker, that is much more in the traditional sense of things when we talking about shit, you feel me? Especially when you want a man to be a traditional man as far as providing. So it's like a even exchange. A man that's going to provide and take care of most of the bills, it has to be a give and take. A woman focuses on the home, being a homemaker. But as far as what she means when she says white men have less to prove than Black men in relationships, I don't think it's like that. I think, we come into the relationship being who we are, feeling, confident in who we are. We're not thinking about that. It's the challenge, the challenge from Black women as far as attacking us, as far as our position, our stature in a relationship, that makes us, sometimes want to establish dominance. But there's a lot of Black men that are confident, masculine.
And so when you're in a relationship with them, you don't necessarily feel like you have all of these checks and boxes that you have to meet. Like you don't have to be the person who cooks. He can cook, he can wash dishes. You don't have to be the girl who does X, Y, and Z. Like a lot of, especially when you watch like reality TV or TV shows that has to do with like white family dynamics, a lot of the women don't do nothing. They're housewives who go shopping and they go out to buy tea and just chill with their girls all day while the man goes to work, comes home and cooks, or finds somebody who's gonna cook for them. And he does everything. All he does is take care of her. And even on these famous TikToks of like, what do you do for a living? You see a lot of white women who are just like, I'm a stay-at-home wife. And their white husbands are taking care of everything else. So it's like, when you get into that scene where you feel like comfortable because he's not showing all this abrasiveness or demand, it becomes easier to let go. Sometimes in a Black dynamic, the men have all of these expectations, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but they have all these expectations that they push on you, and it becomes, it has a wall that you build up. It lets you build this wall up because it's like now you're both fighting against each other rather than working together.
I think that as Black women are starting to get older and, you know, realizing the world for what it is, everything isn't all peaches and cream. They're still holding out that thought in their mind as far as that Disney princess happily ever after false reality, and they think that since it's not in their lives and with their men, they're looking at what they see from white couples and thinking about, you know, what she explained. They're thinking, oh, that's it. That's the false reality. That's the Disney princess. That's the life that I've been seeing and being told that I was going to grow up to have. So it must not be with my Black men. I must go over there and go and be with these guys. That's what I think it is. But I think if you guys actually really have conversations with a vast majority, real people, real white people, outside of just social media, people that's not trying to look good for likes, then you'll realize there's much more range of diversity as far as different type of relationships, different type of dynamics, and you'll see we kind of are going through the same exact thing. I see people all the time in my comments and stuff say things like, oh, you only see Black men asking women what they bring to the table. Do you not understand? Do you not understand that the red pill, manosphere, all that stuff, this is not new. Search up MGTOW, men going their own way. You will barely see Black men. Search up manosphere. Just search up manosphere. You're going to see a lot of different colored men. Search up red pill. You are not going to see only Black men. You're going to see from years ago, probably 5 years ago, so because I did when trying to research and see what the hell everybody was talking about my damn self, I seen a lot more different men that was much more diverse talking about these things, having the same talking points. But a lot of times, like I mentioned very often, what a lot of ladies do is they try to weaponize other cultures against their own when we're just simply just asking for improvement, and you want to act like nobody else is asking for improvement as well. No one else is asking for their ladies as well. That's not true. Everyone's going through this life with their share of resistance. So stop looking to other cultures and thinking that things are just so much easier over there. I'm not saying that if you want to go ahead and date out, you shouldn't date out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just be realistic. Everything she's saying can easily receive pushback from a middle-class white couple.
I get that and I understand that. I guess what I'm trying to get at is more so, you know, the song with Destiny Child and Lil Wayne Soldier. You know, for a lot of Black women that shape their ideal of what a Black man should be, a rough and tumble or a thug, you know, protector, this and that, right?
Yeah.
And they preach that message, not just to the women, but they also preach that message to the men. And then somebody like Eve, for example, went the complete opposite way. So it's like, I'm telling you to be a thug and risk your life so I can see your masculinity. But I have none of those expectations for Chad because I see him as a full human being. So my first question is, I think that's a good point. Chad doesn't mind cooking or whatever. He's comfortable in his masculinity. Why do you think that is? And should some accommodations be made for Black men given the reasons why he might feel more of a need to assert his masculinity?
Think about
I think Black people as a whole struggle with identity. I think we have and we operate a lot due to trauma. White people have been, they've been able to be themselves authentically throughout time. They don't have to be another person. They don't have to really have another identity because whatever they present to themselves has always been acceptable. But with Black people, and especially Black men, they can't be anything. They can't be the soft person, because if they are soft, then you're really threatened by your environment. You're more vulnerable to being attacked. Yeah. You can't be that hard person, because either way, like, you're gonna be attacked. But as a tough, macho, brute Black man, you're less vulnerable because you have less people who are willing to attack you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say.
Catch-22. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. But you are more protected, because if you look tough, less people are willing to really try you. But then they take that toughness and that masculinity and that harshness into their relationships. And I think that's where it becomes toxic. They don't know when to differentiate it. I'm not saying it's like they can, because that's the identity you had to grow up in. Like, that's how you had to identify as a street dude or as a hard person in general. So a white man can just be a white man. A white man can be, and in corporate America, I'm in the military, and in the military I see this a lot. I can see white people in the conference room say whatever types of jokes that they want or act any type of way, and it gets pushed to the side.
But it's not only just that, you know. First off, when she said as far as those men bring that into the relationship, they take it, but it's invited. It's wanted. It's wanted. A lot of our Black women, not all, I'm not gonna say all, but it's a great deal of our Black women that want niggas with a rough side to them, that hood side to them. I know this for sure. Coming from where I come from, I know that, you know? So she made a good point as far as, you know, just for me walking home from school when I was a jit growing up, I knew that, you know, I had to make sure that I was on point so no nigga would try me. I knew how I had to be. I knew how I had to dress, even to the point of knowing that when I had wicks, when I had dreads, that made me even more intimidating. I remember playing football, like the thing was never to smile in a picture. I understand everything she's saying, but those things are also reinforced by women. You know, I remember my lady right now when I first met her. I like Rick Ross, I like 21 Savage, but then I like J. Cole. You feel me? I like Kodak Black, but then I like some Ari Lennox. You feel me? I like drinking some Henny. Sometimes I like sipping some wine. But whenever I would do anything that was perceived to be less masculine, such as sipping wine or listening to neo soul and shit like that, that right there made her think you're very different, because we're both from the same hood, grew up with the same people. But just me expanding my palette as far as my taste as a person, that took her back. And she wasn't sure at first if she could trust me to be masculine just for them simple things. So it's not only that men just bring those hood thuggish vibes to the relationship, it's invited. It's invited. Mostly by our Black ladies.
But I feel, and this may not be true, this is just how I feel like I always have to present a certain image, otherwise I won't be promoted, or I won't be looked. Yeah, I won't be looked at professionally, and that might inhibit my growth. And I think it's the same for Black men. They have to be this tough exterior. They have to have this tough exterior, and then it becomes so part of them that they don't know how to let it go.
I think what makes a bunch of Black men upset at situations like Eve is because a lot of men initially, high school, college, were overlooked because they were the nice, meek, more submissive,
Russell Wilson's
nerdy guy.
Russell
right?
Wilson's.
And later on, that same girl complains about how Black men ain't shit. And then goes after a white man who is the same exact thing as what she shitted on in high school. Yeah. Because just like you said, he gets a wider spectrum to be a person. And you are a man just by default.
Yeah.
So the question is just how Black men, I know as a Black man, I have to be sensitive to the fact that white supremacy has tried to tell you that you're not beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Should Black women be sensitive to the fact that white supremacy has tried to tell Black men that they're not men?
Brother.
Yeah. I think they should.
They should, right?
And why aren't they?
That's what I was trying to elaborate, but I was trying to really see or think deeply about that. I definitely think they should. I think the problem is by the time women start dating these Black men and trying to really have a serious relationship, they're on a time crunch and they're no longer interested in breaking down your barriers as much or for a longer period of time, this extended period of time. So it's like...
Are women selfish? Because unfortunately, I mean, the thing you're going to hear a lot is a lot of these ain't shit dudes that we're complaining about were either created by toxic mothers or incentivized by toxic girls in high school.
Yeah.
And then later on, because I'm on a time crunch, forget what you got going on. Forget the fact that your girlfriend in high school cheated on you with the captain of the football team because you were too nerdy. I'm just, you know what I mean? Forget all that stuff. But I have to be sensitive about what you have going on. And if you're not ready, I'm just going to a white boy who's always been the thing that I didn't even want you to be in high school.
Got to think it.
Yeah.
It sounds like men get zero sympathy, right?
It does. It does. But I think it's harder to give them sympathy because they make it seem like they don't necessarily want it.
Because we can't. There's a good analogy. I think he's a psychologist. His name is Dr. Warren Farrell. And he talks about the buck, the animal, the buck with the horns.
Yeah.
And he said one of the things that's interesting about the buck that translates to the human species is the female bucks select male bucks based on the size of their horns, right? And how elaborate and big that they are, right? And the bigger and more elaborate your horns are, the easier it is for the females to select you, right? So females are incentivizing bigger and more aggressive horns. As a consequence, the bigger and more aggressive your horns are, the more likely you are to have arthritis. And a lot of bucks have problems and even die from that. So the dilemma is the more attractive you are to the female of a species, the more dangerous you are to yourself. And that is the masculine dilemma.
Wow.
Can you give me an example in like the human form?
I was actually talking to Danny and David. They're in high school, right? And they were talking about how, when they try to talk to them, and they go to a white school, predominantly white school, and they said they made a concerted effort to talk to the Black girls. And what they found was the Black girls wanted them to be gangster. The Black girls wanted them to be rough around the edges and all that good stuff, the Tupac archetype, right? Whereas the white girls, because they're big Black dudes, they already thought they were rough, so you can just be yourself. But the Black girls imposed, and these are girls, imposed on them pseudo-masculine expectations that then later on they're gonna complain about.
But do you think it was just the Black girls?
That's what they said, yeah. They said the white girls already thought they were dudes, but the Black girls try to challenge their authority at every single junction.
This boy's smart.
And they said I don't think they realized they were doing that. It was just like natural to them. So where do we go from here? Is the question.
Good question.
I don't know. Because I'm trying to think of like when I was in high school and how I treated guys. That's why I'm trying to go back to that point.
So I'll give you another example. Remember the Love is Blind show?
Yes.
And the couple that came out of it, the black girl and the white dude.
Yes.
What was his name? But it was all over social media. Like they were the it couple, they were goals or whatever the case may be. Yeah, really sweet, cute white dude, you know what I'm saying? And really hurt black woman who, you know, got her a white man. The essential got her a white man. The whole time I was watching the show, I couldn't help but think to myself, if this dude was black, every black woman would call him lame.
Damn.
Why? What did he do?
No, because he's sweet. He's a sweet guy.
What made him sweet? Like, what did he do?
He's a nice guy. He's just the nice guy that black women tend to not like. Just a sweet, nice guy.
Okay, I want you to define like what nice traits you think women don't like.
Agreeable. Agreeable. He wasn't a gangster. There was no macho-ness. He was just like you described. He was more flexible with the gender roles. He was just a sweet guy. But it's like you don't get as much of wiggle room with sweetness as a black man, especially with your own women.
Oh God. And that right there was a masterpiece, man. Shouts out to We Need to Talk. Like I said, this is one of my favorite new channels for me to watch. Something I watch when I'm at work, just chilling and doing what I got to do at work. But yeah, check out that channel. I'm definitely gonna do some more reactions, especially there's some videos with the brother giving some dope game. I'm gonna do a reaction to that shit too. But this was such a dynamic conversation. She was putting so much responsibility onto the men as far as like not understanding why they can't turn that switch off. But like I said, a lot of ladies want that energy, that rough energy. And yes, it is tough to turn off because for some ladies to even deal with you, you have to somewhat have a rough demeanor so a woman doesn't buck at you too crazy. I had a thought at one point in time when I was thinking that, you know, I really think some women prefer to date hood thug men because, you know, how we say when two men are arguing, you always know it's a low level threat of violence. You know, things could go real left real soon. When two women are arguing, you know they can go to that point too. Now, when a woman is arguing with just a normal guy, she thinks she can just dominate that man because, you know, he's just gonna just take it, and she understands by the rules that guy's always gonna go by the rules, and she's never gonna have someone to put her in place. But if she deals with a hood guy, a lawless guy, an unruly dude, it's a chance that this nigga may go off the edge and punch her in her shit, strangle her, kill her, do anything to check her. So she prefers to be with someone that she knows is that crazy, that wild, that she knows that's going to be dominant to that level. And that's what I think. That is not a I don't even know why I'm sharing this with you guys. This is not a refined thought. This is some shit I probably was thinking about on the toilet one day. I don't know, man. Sometimes I just be thinking about some shit, but that's a thought that I had. I would like to see what you guys think in the comment section below. But I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here though. It's your boy Stacy, and I fuck with you. The reason why, because you fucks with me. Hey, I'm out.